My name is Turkka Hakkinen and I'll be taking you with me on a lap around Le Mans Circuit de la Sarthe in the Wolves GR Esports Porsche 911 RSR GTE. So turn 1, flat out right-hander, before we hit turns 2 and 3, which is a slow second gear chicane. You want to keep it within the track limits while cutting as much of the inside as possible. We go under the Dunlop bridge downhill before the S's in the first sector. For the second part of the S's you want to make sure you don't run too wide, because if you go over those bollards you might be sent into the wall on the outside. Next up, Tetre Rouge. This is a really high speed 4th gear corner. You want to cut as much on the inside as possible while keeping it within the track limits on the outside. That's a hotspot for track limit warnings in the race, which will lead to drive-through penalties, and we want to avoid those as much as possible. So here we are on the Mulsanne straight. This is where we reach the highest top speed around this track, which is around 300 kph in our Porsche. Approaching the first Mulsanne chicane, we want to use as much road on the entry as possible to open up the corner. We use all the curbs here to keep the speed up everywhere, and this exit is really key as well to get it right, because the next straight is going to be really long as well. At the end of the straight there will be a similar chicane. It just starts off towards the left now. You are really hoping at this point that there's no LMP2s behind you trying to drive you into this corner, because you just want to get through these as quick as possible to minimize the time spent around a lap. So again, using all the curbs to get a nice run, and then using all the track on the exit to open up the steering early. We cut this right-hander kink here, and then after this straight we are gonna hit Mulsanne corner. Mulsanne corner is a 90-degree right-hander, one of the slowest points around the track. It's around 85 kph. And there's a slight kink before the braking zone, which makes it really tricky, especially with traffic and LMP2s diving it up the inside. So here we go, the exit from 85 kph up to 290 kph at the end of this straight. After the exit you want to get towards the right side as quickly as possible, because there's these two small right-hand corners. When going back towards the right you just need to check your mirrors to see that there's no LMP2s up inside of you, or you'll end up in the wall with a crash. Next up, Indy. It's the most tricky part on this track, using all the road on the entry and then braking for the second gear left-hander here. Gonna keep it within the track limits on the exit before you approach Arnage, which is the slowest corner on this track. First gear corner, tricky exit, you need to watch out for that wall sticking out. It's an easy place to lose a wheel if you touch it in the race. After Arnage, we are gonna approach the Porsche Kerbs after this straight. You wanna minimize the distance between the two corners as much as possible, which is why we keep cutting the inside here on the left side. Next up, Porsche Curves. This is a hot spot for action in the race. This is where the daring moves will be happening. And here in the second part we are gonna get really close to the wall every lap through the 24-hour race. Going through the final ones of the Porsche Kerbs here. On the exit you wanna stay within the track limits. And then next up is the 4 chicanes. The pit lane veers off towards the right. We don't wanna be spending much time there at all to get a good result. Now let's go hop through these curbs of the 4 chicanes before reaching the main straight once again. And that's a lap around Le Mans Circuit de la Sarthe with me, Turkka Hakkinen.